This is when the internet fails. After all this.
I do or not. Oh, that's good.
Hopefully we're live. I think we're live. We've got a red light. I'll scroll up here. I'm hearing something on the playback. Is it my one or your one?
There we go.
Anyway, right, we're finally live. We've got 5 people joining us. I'm hearing an echo in my ear. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to trust the internet from now on.
Fingers crossed.
We're live on the internet on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Do make sure you get your predictions in live in the comments. We've got our second screen just over here, and we're taking your questions for our AFC Bournemouth fan right next to me in person. In fact, no Skype videos this week. Hello Alf, when's the game? Yeah, it's Friday night. Hello John, and hello Lemon Plays, I don't know. But Sam, good to speak to you once again. AFC Bournemouth, the game on Friday night in front of the TV cameras. Firstly, just a quick thought on that, in front of the TV cameras. The media love to hype it up.
They do, but I think they're always reactive based on the previous fixture though. Because obviously last season, 3-3, incredible match. Maybe not for you because you conceded at the end, could have lost it at the end. But in terms of the media, it seems that they always look at the last match and think, oh, you know what, that's prime for Sky Sports viewing, that is. Whereas a couple of seasons before that, we've had quite dull encounters, and they've just thought, actually, no, we'll leave it. But yeah, they are obviously like hyping it up. Any hyping of some kind of derby or rivalry, I'm sure you'll come on to that, always helps their viewing figures. So yeah, it's I'm glad, and Friday night under the lights, it should be a good game.
And indeed, we had it sort of a couple of years ago. If it was winter time, it was I think the first year you were back in the Premier League, in fact, and Sky Sports cameras hyped it up big time as well. But obviously, this year you've also launched a sort of YouTube sort of channel as well. You've been a podcast, you've been away a sort of a holiday, a break last season. But just tell us a little bit more. How's the channel going this season so far?
It's going all right. It's hard work, and I admire what you do and all the other YouTubers doing sort of fan TV stuff. So if Southampton fans want to have an AFC Bournemouth insight, there will be our preview out tomorrow, and I do fan interviews after the game as well, like yourself. But primarily we were a podcast launched in 2016. And yeah, we've been doing shows every week, which are very difficult to put together. It's only sort of 45 minutes, an hour, but it takes ages, and we pride ourselves on fairly decent production. And then I just thought, well, let's capitalise on YouTube and let's just get some authentic fans' thoughts on there. I've fallen out of love with Twitter a little bit, which is all the kind of knee-jerk opinion that comes in. No one really knows who it is. All this kind of like football Twitter brigade that just say anything to gain likes. Not for me. So therefore, I thought let's have a bit of accountability, get fans' faces on cameras, and let's get some real conversation flowing.
Yeah, and indeed, well, the fan channel sort of hub is blowing up everywhere. There's a fan channel for every football team almost now across the country. But your fan base, how are they reacting to it? You were telling me off camera just a moment ago. Some of them aren't quite reacting to it, and to be honest, I think the fan sort of channel thing is a bit marmite at times, isn't it?
Yeah. Anything new with AFC, I mean, let's face it, we've got an older fan base. We've got some young fans that sort of appreciate the YouTube stuff, which is great. A lot of people are very much stuck in their ways, so they just think, what's this guy doing with the camera? A lot of them just like typing stuff online, and they don't want to put their face on camera, which is fine. That's why we have a podcast, and people can telephone in their thoughts and send us a WhatsApp voice message and get their opinions on there. But people are very, resistant to it. Well, quite often appearing on it they might not want to do, but if I was to pack it in, they would say, oh Sam, we really miss the podcast. Well, get involved, come on. But it's very difficult to get people involved. However, I'm sure the popularity will grow. It's a lot of hard work. I'm obviously doing this alongside my proper job, and a lot of late nights, and for the first 3 months I knew it was going to be a lot of hard work, but we've had sort of 500 subscribers in a month. I mean, and I know it's not Arsenal Fan TV levels or even, you know, levels that you've got, but, you know, we're getting there. So, and all I want to do is represent fans as well as I can, really.
Well, it is a hard graft, to be honest, and we've spent the last sort of half an hour or so just trying to set this thing up through technology for our live streaming kit, you know, sorting out thumbnails, displays, graphics, you know, equipment right here we're working through on the phone right here, so there's a lot of effort going into this as well, but do make sure you get your predictions in your live comments. Hello Lemon Plays, you're still there, we can still see you. So before we get to anything else, as I like to say, we're down here at the Five Rivers 2, our favourite haunt for match day. There will be, you know, there will be acceptance sort of away fans here on the night, but just don't be displaying too many colours. Hence why Sam's not in colours tonight. He wants to be letting on Friday after work. But hey, Five Rivers have also got a fantastic band on, a ska band actually, straight after the match on Friday night. So get your bums down here to enjoy a drink or two. We've got some Gamma Ray, we've got some Mulsif. So if you're into your craft beer and real ale, there'll be plenty to go around. But Sam, football, proper football. It's been back for the last 6 weeks now, albeit after an international break. But Saints and Bournemouth, they sit on exactly the same points, an identical record. We're playing for third place overnight in this game.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And as you have, we've experienced the highs and lows already. It was quite a low for us really on the first game of the season, despite drawing against Sheffield United. We expected a win, but then we turned the tables against Aston Villa. You've got that so-called free hit against Manchester City, disproved by Norwich with their victory. Incredible win for them. And then you know, Leicester City, which was 3-1 scoreline, but it was just the manner of the performance which was absolutely appalling. But then we got the reverse at home against Everton, going in our favour. So we've had ups and downs already, and we're only like 4 or 5 games in, so I'm sure there's going to be more to come.
There were 7 points from 5 games. Summarise the 5 games for us.
It's been all right. I mean, we've had an injury crisis where we haven't been able to field some of the players that we would like to. They are starting to, you know, come back into the fold. It's great to see players like Lewis Cook, who made his comeback against Everton at the weekend. I thought he had a cracking match, and there have been a number of other players, namely defenders, that have been out for us. So we've had to play players that have been below par for quite a while, like Diego Rico at left back, who did have a good game, I've got to say, against Everton. Jack Stacey, his first Premier League match at the weekend, he did all right, deputising for Adam Smith, who's out with an injury. Whether he's going to be back for Saints, not too sure. However, yeah, we've been ravaged. But then, you know, I was watching a Norwich City vlog last night against Man City, and they were injury ravaged as well, yet pulled 3-2 out the bag. So I shouldn't really complaining about that. We've got relatively good squad depth, and it's been all right. It's been typical Bournemouth really, ups and downs, but slightly more ups than downs.
Well, John comments here, who? So he must be referring to either Rico or Stacey, right?
He probably is. I mean, to be honest, many plastic Bournemouth fans would probably not even know who Rico is, based on the fact he has barely been used. But seasoned Bournemouth supporters will know that he's a Spanish left back, not quite in the mould of Charlie Daniels. We want him to be, but there's hopefully more to come from him.
And David, we see a comment there, how do you think Saints will line up? We'll get to that in just a moment as well. But previous game 3-1, obviously on Sunday as well. We were hoping to do a link up on Sunday, but of course Sky are dictating our TV schedules and our routines. But and actually an FPL favourites, Fraser and Wilson, both on the score sheet at the weekend.
Yeah, really good to have Callum back scoring the goal. Scored at Leicester. It does wonders for his confidence. He's very much a confidence player. There have been times where he's been out, not scoring for a long time, but when he does, the goals flow. Ryan Fraser, I think, has had a poor start to the season. He's been very comfortable in that position due to our injury crisis. I mean, a lack of wingers as well, blimey. So he's pretty been much a shoo-in for that position on the left wing there. And he's got complacent. And Eddie Howe took him out. I think it was more to teach him a lesson more than anything. And then he came on and really did well. Only had about 25 minutes, scored a goal, created chances, and it was like the Ryan Fraser of old. So it's really good to have those players in form. And as you say, if you've got them for your FPL, you'll be doing well on the points tally. That's for sure.
Well, this year their price was inflated, wasn't it, because of their success from last year?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So on certain apps, if you've got shares in them, perhaps the value's gone down. I don't quite know, but it's good to have him back, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be obviously we'll come up to team lineups, etc. But I'm hoping that he'll be starting on Friday night.
Yeah, and Benjamin asks, what do you think our predictions will be? But we'll get to that as well. We're just going to tease you a little while whilst we go through our notes as well. I've seen an interesting statistic actually on the Premier League website. Saints are unbeaten against Cherries at home in the last sort of 4 fixtures. Do you even like playing at St Mary's?
It's one of those matches that Bournemouth fans look towards with excitement. Saints fans, it's a derby, okay? Geographically, look it up in the dictionary. Derby does mean a competitive fixture against a local rival. So it's a derby. Rivalry, that's another debate. However, yeah, I mean, for us, obviously we don't have any rivals. You've got Portsmouth historically. Our fans are trying to manufacture a rivalry, and whether it's working or not, I don't know. The better we become, then maybe you'll look at us as more rivals rather than this kind of patronising pat on the back, little brother, cheer their result at half time like they used to. It probably doesn't happen anymore. However, it is exciting for us, but we do want to get one over on you, and that will always be the case. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone for us so far. Harry Arter's penalty is still up there in space somewhere.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we had that chance at the end of the last game where Callum Wilson was through on goal, great save. It could have won it to make it 4-3. So we've had our chances. I think on the pitch we are competing with you, better than ever before.
Well, this is the thing, the game sort of in, what was it, May, April of this year, and then in fact the year before we had the do or die sort of fixture. We had to beat you with 2 goals from Dusan Tadic, but last year the 3-3 result, fantastic game for the neutral, and in fact both coaches or both managers changed their tactics in play about 3 or 4 times. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, we did very early with Chris Mepham coming off and making changes, but one thing I've always noticed that, and we said this on a podcast earlier in the week, that we've always seemed to play you at your place when you are desperate for points at the end of the season. Season before last, I mean last season to a lesser extent, but certainly the season before that, I mean it was a must-win game for you, and then it was handy for you that we then went and beat Swansea the following week, which gave you a bit of breathing space. You went to Swansea and won, and your safety was pretty much confirmed. So it's coming early in the season, so this will be a good gauge of where we're at really, because it'll be 2 teams that of course they've got something to play for. I mean, it's not a dead rubber by any extent, but there have been other matches previously where it's been more crucial that your team have got a result. So we're really interested to see how it goes. But we're after Sunday, we're going in with a lot of confidence.
So we're looking at these 2 games. In fact, so we're looking at obtainable points. We've taken 3 points at Sheffield. We should look at this game as a winnable game. We will be favourites. I think the bookies have got us as favourites, only just, I think, but it will be a competitive game nonetheless. But I think a realistic return from these 2 fixtures would have been 4 points. I would have taken a point at Sheffield. Yeah. But now that we've already got 3, I'm not sure I would have taken a point maybe 2 weeks ago against Bournemouth at home.
Yeah. And that's the same as our start of the season. We should have been beating Sheffield United, and last week I was saying that the pressure was sort of on us to beat Everton based on the fact that the matches that we've dropped points against Sheffield United are rivals that are going to be there or thereabouts. I don't think you're going to be relegation fodder this season, and I don't think we are, but you are a rival in terms of where we're trying to finish, and you're beating Sheffield United on their own turf and we're not beating them at home. Then we're not beating Man City at home, but then Norwich are. And these are teams that we want to be above at the end of the season. So it is, swings and roundabouts really. We are going to it positively, and we think as Bournemouth fans, if we play to our maximum capability, we can beat you. And a lot of us think we should beat you. However, unfortunately, when we have played you before, we've just not quite turned up. Last season we did in various stages. We didn't early on. Shane Long missed that sitter against the post, which we're probably still having nightmares about now. We made it 2-1, and then we went off the ball for a bit. Saints came back like they do, and then they switched off. So it's going to be one of those roller coaster games again. And then, you know, like you say, perfect for the TV viewer.
Yeah, in fact, under the lights, probably some fireworks, some flame throwers. It's not for me, but it's for the TV entertainment, if you like. But you know, you mentioned there a minute ago, sort of the Bournemouth sort of fan base are almost desperate for a rivalry. But why are they so desperate? Everybody wants to know this. You know, why are they manufacturing this derby?
The rivalry.
I mean, I want to add another thing to that as well. Why are I mean, you've got it in your notes over there as well.
We're going to fall out.
Why are Bournemouth fans calling Saints scummers? I mean, there's no history to it either.
Granted, there's not the history. I think we, as Bournemouth fans, we probably tessellate more with Pompey than we do with Saints, based on our past financial disappointment, and I don't want to say being the underdogs, because you know you and Pompey have got your own battle, but you know Portsmouth have had a lot of adversity, and we're probably more similar with them. My gripe, so to speak, is when I was younger, Bournemouth weren't that successful in Ensley League Division 2, Division 3 or whatever, so the third and fourth tier. You've got your local, you know, you've got your mates who are going up to Southampton to watch what they think is their nearest team, because they want to see top flight football. So they went to the Dell or St Mary's, and they just almost disregarded AFC Bournemouth. And I find it, you know, I found that really frustrating that, you know, we basically lost fans because of their want to see, you know, success in the top flight, or a team in the top flight. And also, there's a lot of Twitter and social media spats about how you saved our club with a friendly, and it was if it wasn't down to you,
pennies for the cherries, right?
Yeah, pennies for the cherries. You know, save the cherries. But then, you know, you'd have to say that we rolled over against you a couple of seasons ago, went and beat Swansea at home, and saved your bacon to a much bigger extent in terms of that being millions, but. In terms of calling you scummers and stuff, yeah, we are trying to manufacture a rivalry, and you know there are people in the workplace that look down at you know obviously it's a very local catchment. There are Southampton fans in pretty much every large workplace, and historically they've always patronised us, looked down at us, patted us on the back, but you can see why. Because Pompey, that is the rivalry for them. But as Bournemouth fans, we didn't like it, so we've just joined the Portsmouth fans in calling you every name under the sun, and rightly so.
Unbelievable. Think of your own insults, I'd say. But of course, media will try and hype it up. But I think it's fair to say, look, it's not a rivalry. As you say, through the years we've put our pennies for the cherries, saved the cherries sort of back then, and I'm sure you've had probably a group from Bournemouth come up, or even in fact probably a group from Southampton go down to Southampton down to Bournemouth, I should say.
Yeah.
But we all know what the real South Coast derby is. It is Southampton Portsmouth, but I'm not disregarding. I mean, you said at the top of the show there, it is geographically a derby, but it is not a rivalry.
What would make it more of a rivalry for you? I personally think we're better at the moment than you. The last two seasons on the pitch. Obviously, off the pitch, our infrastructure is not as good as yours. You've got a really nice stadium. Brilliant training facilities. We've got the training facilities on the go.
There were empty seats against Everton, weren't there?
I think people down the beach. We have lovely weather down Bournemouth. Unfortunately, there were, which is not a great thing. But we are building a multi-million-pound training facility that's going to be pride of the South, and then that'll clear the land for a potential new stadium site. So off the pitch, hopefully we can start to better you as well. However, on the pitch, I'd say if we were more competitive, would that make us more rivals? If we maybe beat you at St Mary's, would that be the start of something where you could think, oh, hello, it's Bournemouth?
could possibly happen. I think there needs to be some sort of ferocity to it. You know, some nastiness. But as you say,
they're not going to be escorting us in on coaches though and doing all that.
There'll be no Bournemouth bubbles.
Yeah.
No chance.
Shame.
Anyway, look, time then to ask you about what have you seen of Southampton this season. Obviously, we're on the same points. You know, like you say, we've beaten Sheffield last year at Bramall Lane, and last week in fact at Bramall Lane. But started a defeat with, what was it, Burnley away, and then a defeat to Liverpool. What else have you seen of Saints this season?
Wizzy Wise, Nick looks different, just for men. Are you talking about my receding hairline? These are my solar panels, by the way. These are what conserve my energy. Southampton, I think you've been very similar to us in a way. I mean, I was quite impressed with you against Sheffield United. Hasenhüttl's definitely brought a resilience and a more organised Southampton to the fore. I was really surprised that Mark Hughes was even given the job, to be honest, because I didn't rate him, and I've not rated him much at many clubs he's been at. So when he was gone, and then the arrival of Ralph, I think Southampton have improved since then. And there are these little astute signings that you've made this season. I mean, one of the players that's historically, I've always thought is a decent player, fast, pacey, Nathan Redmond. Now he's out, obviously. Well, I think so anyway. Wow. And then you've got players like Moussa Djenepo, who that goal he scored at Bramall Lane was unbelievable. His turn of pace, his strength, shifted it onto his right foot, and then the finish as well. He's possibly the player that is going to scare us on Friday. And I just, you put him up against, say, Steve Cook in a one-on-one, and you're thinking, blimey, that might be a problem. Maybe not so much Nathan Ake, but he's going to be a threat. But I think you've been all right. Certainly, I don't think you're going to have the same issues like you have had the last two seasons in terms of being in the relegation mire. I think you'll be sort of round about where we are. I think
mid-table is the target for this campaign, but a target for Redmond, I think, would have been to return for this game on Friday night.
I hope not.
We'll obviously find out from the press conferences tomorrow if they haven't already announced it. But I guess I'm only assuming that Redmond may be in the squad, but it's very unlikely that he will be starting. But equally, we've got the danger man in Djenepo, who scored a fantastic goal against Sheffield United last weekend, and a brilliant strike up over in the Amex in Brighton, a few weeks ago as well. So, but I would say as well, despite our strength going forward in Djenepo, Redmond, you've got who else we got up there? Ings, Adams, who's still yet to score. Some of the comments in here suggesting that Adams will definitely score this Friday night. But we still have a huge weakness, and we're often exploited at the back. We're still lacking a leader, and it was still highlighted, in fact, despite a clean sheet at the weekend. McGoldrick, in fact, even McBurney often finding themselves free for a free hit for a strike on goal. But we've still got those weaknesses in defence.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we'll hopefully exploit. I mean, we've got weaknesses too. When we're full strength, even with a full strength defence, we conceded the most goals of the teams that stayed in the Premier League. Because Huddersfield conceded more, Fulham did, they both went down. That's absolutely scary. But I thought that despite the fact we had Rico and Stacey at the weekend against Everton, we did look better. I mean, if it wasn't for the Nathan Ake, I don't know how it would go. But when you've got players like Ryan Fraser, Josh King, Callum Wilson, and Dom Solanke as well, I've got a feeling that.
Are you suggesting there could be another 3-3 on Friday?
I think we're going to win it.
Oh, okay.
I actually think we're going to win it. I think that Harry Wilson from Liverpool, I don't think is going to start. He's apart from his two wonder goals that he scored. I mean, that free kick against Man City was superb. But I don't think he'll start because elsewhere he's been poor. Ryan Fraser came on to massive effect, and I think he'll start with Josh King on one side and Fraser on the other, with Solanke, who's been very good in terms of holding the ball up.
How many goals has he scored?
He's in his career, he scored a number of goals, Freddie.
But £20 million for how many goals?
He's barely played, to be honest, but he's getting there. He's getting there, and I think once he does score, he's gonna fly. And him and Wilson work well together. Now, I've got to say, for all the goals that Josh King has scored, all the goals that Callum Wilson scored, that as a partnership, they aren't. It's not like they're playing 1-2s, and it's not like your Shearer and Chris Sutton combination, Dwight York, Andy Cole. It's nothing like that. So I think that Dom Solanke actually works better with Callum Wilson, and Josh King, he can play as the number 10 or whatever, but down the wing, he's so powerful, dynamic, fast. He created that free kick that Ryan Fraser netted for us to make it 2-1. So to have him on one side and Fraser on the other could be devastating, and with Lewis Cook for the creativity and Philip Billing or Jefferson Lerma in the middle, I genuinely think we'll win it on Friday.
Okay, well, I'm not taking that at all. I think, as we say, the bookies will have us favourites. We've got momentum now. In fact, 3 wins on the bounce, including we're counting the League Cup, by the way.
Was it Lincoln or someone? No, was it? No,
Fulham.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking.
3 wins, 3 clean sheets. Those are 3 away clean sheets, in fact. But we've got some momentum at home. We're going to have the fans behind us. We're going to have the fireworks, the fanfare, all sorts of the fans getting up for it. Hopefully, no clackers. God, I hate clackers. So, time to tell me then your team lineup. So we've got some comments here already asking for the lineup. You've got it on your notes already.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, obviously, I would love to, name an understrength Southampton lineup against a very full-strength Bournemouth lineup. I think I can tell you the Bournemouth lineup. However, I just wanted to quickly, before I said that, is the match against Pompey, in Ralph Hasenhüttl's mind, is it going to be more important, or is it going to be equally important? I mean, would there be players that would potentially miss out on Friday to play on the Tuesday you're playing?
Tuesday night,
yeah. Would he do that? Or surely not. Surely the Premier League comes first, no?
Ralph knows the importance of the game.
Yeah.
And he's been told that multiple times through members of staff. And, I guess he understands the fans as well. You know, I'm sure they've got eyes on the social media pages, but even I suggested on your show this week, it said personally I'd take a defeat against Bournemouth as long as we smash the lot down the road. That's the big one for us. We haven't played Portsmouth in 7 years. We're all up for it. We want to win that game. We take it the point. Couldn't care less too much about a defeat in the Premier League. It's early days anyway. It's the 6th game of the season.
So I mean, that is where Bournemouth fans maybe just get a bit irked. It's like, why can't you treat us as some kind of importance? But who knows? I mean, if we put a strong team out there, which I think we will, going back to your original question, then I think we can certainly we can get a result. And I think that Ramsdale will start. He's been very good in goal for us. I think Rico again, relatively good game, likely to be left back. Nathan Ake and Steve Cook at the back. Whether Adam Smith will come back in or not, he's got a bit of a hamstring problem, probably out, in which Jack Stacey could deputise again, and that's where, if I was a Southampton, if I was Ralph, I'd be saying exploit the wings.
Because it'll be your right back, so while left wingers will be Redmond or Gineppo. Yeah,
which is going to be scary. So who knows about that? And then in midfield, I think it's going to be Josh King, Lewis Cook, Philip Billing, Ryan Fraser. Jefferson Lerma, unlucky not to start, but he was on international duty for Colombia, so he came back late on Thursday. I think that he is a great player to bring on, and I think he's sort of in between the creativity of Cook and the sort of monster of Philip Billing, who's tall, he's robust, he can be calm on the ball, he's strong, isn't afraid to put in a challenge. So I think Jefferson Lerma's in the middle of those two, so I think he'll go for Cook and Billing and then bring Lerma on later on.
This could be an interesting battle actually. Lerma's a big sort of battling, tough tackling midfielder. Alongside, opposite him is Pierre Højbjerg and Oriol Romeu.
And it's always a fascinating encounter really, because obviously we hear a lot about the Saints, because obviously Radio Solent has its own love-in with Saints. Tune in any weekday morning, Saints this, Saints that, Saints this, Saints that, and Bournemouth also played. end of report. It's like, hello, is that it?
Are you in the Solent?
We are in the Solent region. Granted, we've got a separate breakfast show in Dorset for that, but anyway, I don't know, it just irks me a little bit. That's another reason why we want to get one over you. And then Josh King, Solanke and Callum Wilson up front. Solanke has been superb for us, despite the fact he's not got on the score sheet. And then Josh King as well. Sorry, not Josh King, Callum Wilson as well, who's obviously in a rich vein of form for us.
You've got King twice then.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I don't know why I've done that.
I've called you out on that one.
Yeah. So you know what? Win, lose or draw. I'm actually really looking forward to the result. I'm going up on the train early, having a few beers. Probably not coming to the Five Rivers in case I'm getting lynched, but we'll see.
Just don't wear your colours.
No, that's right. And then whether I'll be doing this stuff that you do, fans interviews after the game, I don't know. It's dark. We haven't got the equipment that you've got, Freddie, lights and stuff, and
no lights anymore. It's just on the phone.
Yeah, just on the phone. So,
scaled back.
Yeah, scaled back. And so whether I'll be doing that, I don't know. But if you're a Bournemouth fan watching and you see me outside, please do get involved, because it's it's good to get some authentic opinion. And then hopefully the train back. A few G&Ts with a smile on my face. Who knows?
G&Ts on a Friday night.
Love it, mate.
It's not Brighton. Cosmopolitan city. Right, sign us off then with a score prediction. I'm gonna start things off then. I'm gonna go with the bookies' favourite with the Saints win, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a competitive fixture. And to be honest, Nick likes a 3-1. He loves a 3-1 on every prediction that we ever record. But I think there's going to be about 5 goals in this. I think it might be 3-2.
Yeah, as Brad the Lads just said on your YouTube, he's a Man United fan. He's looking forward to the game. He's a neutral. Hello, what's he said? 3-2 win for Southampton.
Oh,
hello. Look at that. Well, a Man United fan agrees with you, but less said about Man United, the better. I think Bournemouth are going to win it. I think there will be goals. I think we will not concede. We've always got that in us. Again, I'm going to go 4-2.
Wow.
4-2. Someone I interviewed said 4-1 after the game. Little Ethan, who I interviewed outside the main reception, said 4-1. I'm going for 4-2 to AFC Bournemouth on Friday night.
That's an incredible result if you do pull that off. And I think if it does appear to be end up with 4-2, I think it would suggest that Ralph may have fielded a weakened side.
Take us seriously, mate. You need to start taking it seriously. Yeah. Portsmouth aren't. I don't. Obviously they missed out. It would have been good for your rivalry had Portsmouth got promoted last season, but obviously, you can rub it in either way, can't you?
Well, look, they said see you next season, but they didn't know we were going to meet them in the cup.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, exactly. So yeah, 4-1 I'm going for.
All right, good stuff. I'm not taking that, but I'll go 3-2 Saints. Thanks for joining us. Before I sign you off, then I'll run you through my lineup.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, I haven't actually prepared this at all, but it'll obviously be. Angus Gunn in goal, made some terrific saves at Sheffield last weekend.
Ooh.
Kept us in the game, in fact, after Yoshida and Vestergaard let him for a free hit. At right back, I think we're going to suggest with a 4-2-2-2. Ralph has finally got his team playing and the personnel to play that. He seems to be favouring Cedric at the moment, which is quite odd because Jan Valery obviously breakthrough star last season. If you want to send me your team lineups in the comments before we go, send it in right now. But Cedric in at right back, I'd say, I'm only guessing here. I've not had a great record at guessing the lineups anyway. In defence, Bednarek with, I think he might go with Vestergaard once again.
Right, yeah.
Then that would be a suggestion that Bertrand would also miss out, because I'm going to go Kevin Danso at left back. He's not natural at left back, but there has been some rumours suggesting that Bertrand's fell out with Ralph behind the scenes.
Right.
I don't know how much truth there is to the story, but he seems to be favouring unnatural fullbacks in fullback positions. So Danso in at left back for me. 2 holding midfielders, Romeo and Højbjerg, quite easily. Depending on Redmond's fitness, I would go Gineppo and Buffal. Even if Redmond isn't 100% fit, start him on the bench. Save him for Tuesday if he's got full fitness for them. We want our star man for that game. Gineppo, Buffal. Buffal could turn Smith and Stacey inside out. Trickery on the ball, and then up top with Adams and Ings.
Yeah, interesting.
That's my team lineup anyway. Let me know your comments in below. If you're joining us after the live stream, do get in touch with your comments and your predictions. Sam's gone for a 4-2 Bournemouth victory. I've gone for a 3-2. But thanks so much for joining us on the live stream. Do make sure you check out Sam over on the AFC Bournemouth podcast and YouTube channel. Tell us more before we go.
Yep, it's at, well, just search Back of the Net Bournemouth on YouTube or visit our website, afcbpodcast.com. I think you've put the link in the description there. So even if you're a Saints fan, get a view on Bournemouth and, yeah, up the cherries.
Thanks for joining us, Up the Saints.